All right, I guess I've come down to waiting on this enough, and it's time to see if we can get this thing running. I don't think it's going to take too much. The guy I got it from said it ran a couple years ago. I saw a video of it running. It wasn't running good, but it was running. I spun it over a little bit the other day and noticed it did not have any spark, so need to work on that. He said that he fiddled with the magneto, cleaned it up, and got it to run. So I'm guessing the points are probably crusty. Magneto's been open for a long time. It does not look like it's in great shape, but we'll see what we can do to get it running for now. Let's see here. Give you the walk around, so to speak. All right. So front side, I don't see much. Notice there's a part that was broken and rewelded here, but all in all, nothing will stop us from running it today. There's our mag that's been open. It's pretty dirty in there and crusty. The coils look like they've been wrapped with electric tape several decades ago, and maybe that's what the originals look like. I don't know. My other engine and the only two Wyco magnetos I've ever messed with is they were replaced at some time, so they were different. They were the amber color. But we'll see what we can do. There is no gas tank. There's no check valve, so I got to rig something up for that to get it to run. But everything's here. Here's that part that's broken, or was broken and rewelded. Let's see. Make sure our needle's not boogered up. Nah, it actually looks really good, so we're going to go with that because I was just checking that right off the bat. Sometimes you fight with starting an old engine just because you can't get it set right. Okay. Yeah, there's not really much to worry about. So let's worry about spark to start with, and then I'll show you some of the others. I know I had a short video on it back a couple months ago now, or a couple weeks ago now. But let's see what we can do about this magneto. So I want to double check to see if I have spark to start with, and then go from there. All right, start off with, I'm going to take the plug out. We'll use that to start off with, check our spark, and also it'll be easier just to spin over with no compression. At least it looks like it's been running. Long time ago. Shut off that light, maybe you'll have a hope of seeing it. If it does it, I don't know how this will show up. Oh wait, we did have spark. It did not spark the other day. Not sure if that's showing up. I'll run a few through just in case it's getting between frames. Alright, so the other day I was checking, I was just holding the wire next to ground, but maybe I was doing something wrong. Alright, well that'll be easier. This will it run just became a lot shorter. I'll leave this out for now actually. I'm gonna oil everything up. So let me oil up what I need to, put some grease in the grease cups. I'm not going to clean out all the old grease and stuff at this point. I'll save that for later. This is just to get it to run. I'm not going to do much with it yet. So I've picked up on the crank, and I don't seem to have much slack in the bearings. There's no real slack in the rod bearing. Something I did notice, which you can't see from there, but this whole bracket at some point has been broken off and then rewelded, but we'll look at that a little bit again later. Okay. See what it looks like in here. Hey, at least the grease isn't old black grease. Not too bad looking. Maybe a little moisture in it. Looks like a little moisture in the middle one. Unless they just use some different grease, but we'll go for it and force some in there. All right. Spin some down in here and see if we, till we get some coming out of the bearings. All right. Definitely got some coming out of the side there. Oh, I even see some of the red new stuff. There's a couple screws down in here that probably shouldn't be there. All right. Go for the main cap here. Okay, I'm just starting to see some of the red come through on the inside edge and a little bit on the outside. It wasn't a ton to squirt a bunch out, but that just tells me it was pretty dry to start with. This one's harder to turn, so this bearing must be in better shape. Yeah, there's some squirting out of the backside. Looks like in between the two pieces, the two bearing halves. Okay, those are good. Put some lube right here on the governor. Some on the cam. This is a little bit on the gears. This here's bar and chain oil, which I use for this type of stuff with the open gears and all that because it's thicker. There you go. You can see a little more. Piston is really dry. So on the piston and the oiler, obviously, I'm just using regular 30-weight motor oil. Bar and chain's too thick for that. Usually the drip's supposed to be about 1 every 10 seconds or so. I mean, varies a little based on how much you're using it and under what kind of load you're using it, but I'm gonna do about 1 every 5 on this one. Squirt plenty of oil up into there. It's gonna smoke like crazy when I crank it up. All right, so on these gears, cam gear has a little bit of wear. The crank gear is worn a lot. Governor not so much. This governor piece, the way it's welded on here, I think is leaning a little bit. So that's not ideal. Also, this governor gear does not seem to be correctly attached. It's like this screw is held in place. Yeah, that gear's not even on there. The screw's held in place with a wire. That's all that's holding it. So it'll work for this Will It Run, but that needs to be replaced, fixed. So all right. Next up, I'll use some of the lube on the trip mechanism. Get some of the bar and chain lube because it's thicker. I won't put bar and chain lube up here though. See, this thing comes way too far down when it trips. It should not do that, and I think it should go back. I'm not 100% familiar with the trip mechanism set up here, but I think something's wrong there. But we'll see if it runs and then worry about that. There's also, don't know if it shows up in the video, there's a penny back here. Somebody used for a spacer. I don't know. Mag opens way too far, but it does fire, so I'm going to go with it for this one. Yeah, it should snap back. Snap open half of that, and I believe snap right back. Alright. So I got a right shoulder issue that's been acting up, so that ought to be interesting with this. Now what we got left is fuel, figuring out how we're going to do fuel. Let me shut down the video, figure that out, and I'll be back. Well, I'm sure this is not going to be the smartest idea, but it's the quickest. Alright, so I have a check valve on the bottom of there. That's one I bought for another engine. And I have this fancy soda can full of gasoline. Actually, it's True Fuel, but close enough. So I should probably secure that can over somehow, but I'll do that. And then we'll see what we can get happening. I don't know. See what she does. Let me see if I can choke it. Get it past the compression stroke. There, I got fuel that time. Alright, it's got a handle. I'm not going to use it right now. We'll try it this way. It might have been flooded a little. Let's see what it does now. I'll pull the plug out, see if the plug's wet. Not really. It's not splashing up to there. Let me see if I still have spark around all this gasoline, because that's a good place to do it. Yeah. Still got good spark. And there's fuel in there. I can see the valve seat really well. Looks like it's in good shape. But anyway, a lot of fuel in there. So it may be flooded. We'll come back to this when my shoulder's not wore out. Maybe tomorrow, try real fuel.
Okay, got rid of all the True Fuel. Now we're back to regular gasoline. Let's see what it does. Good old-fashioned stuff. Choke it first. Actually spin it over a little blowout on True Fuel. Alright, got a glove on the old cranking hand. Okay, I need to look at timing a little better. I don't have any intake valve leaks. It's got good compression, it feels like. Alright, so compression stroke. Top dead center is right about there. Our mag stripping just a tad after top dead center, which isn't that big a deal. And then we're drawing in a little bit. I don't think we got enough vacuum pulling the fuel in at the right time. So let me tinker with cam timing. See what happens. See if I can find any marks on this thing. Okay, here's what I'm starting to think. I just rushed to it, seeing that this thing ran before. Didn't Did a quick overall look at timing and mainly was focusing on ignition, not valve timing. So top dead center. We fire just after top dead center. And I'm going to follow through. This is the power stroke. Notice it pushed that exhaust valve down some. The exhaust valve stays down until, let's see. So we're losing a lot of that. And then when it opens up. Five degrees of the intake stroke. So I don't know the cam timing on this. I assume that is a mark. I don't know if there's a mark on the gear, on the crank gear or not. I mean, I could just mess with it and see, and it might come to that, but I think I'm going to see if this flywheel slides off easy or not. Slides off easy, I'll pull it off and clean up the gears and see what I can see there. If not, I'll just time it best I can without, but I'm curious how that, if there's any marks on that anyway. So that's what I'll do, and we'll go from there. Maybe this brass is a little too soft. Get some steel behind it. This is the first one I had to deal with where the gib key's actually in there. Usually they're falling out. The steel rod I have is as long as the other, so I'm scared. Hold it with vice grips. All right, we're moving. Good deal there. So now that we're moving, I know I'm going to be able to get it out. It looked like somebody peened over the keyway there a little bit, so I need to clean that up. To me, it doesn't look like they did it on purpose. It looks like something was, I think they hit it a few times, knocking in that gib key. All right. Go ahead and clean off this shaft a little bit. My angle grinder here. It's moving. That fly will come off and fall on my sandals there, my steel-toed sandals. And so there was another key inside of there. Once I got past the key, now I could rotate it right off. Take this key out of the way. And what about the gear? All right. Let me get this gear cleaned up a little bit, and we'll see what we got. I'll be back. All right. Here's what I got. Not sure. That's horrible. Anyway, right there where my finger is, there's a dot. I don't know if somebody put that there later on or if that is the timing mark. It looks a lot like the timing mark. So, I don't know. From right here, it may focus okay, and I'll zoom in so you can see. But right there's the mark. There's the keyway. And I'm assuming that lines up with this mark here. Maybe. There's not much info on the Nelson Brothers stuff. Get that on with a little brass. I don't want to chip and tear up those teeth any more than they already are. Okay. Let's see. I'll go ahead and clean this off some too. Just because it's pretty nasty. Alright. So this is a little interesting. So I'm pretty sure this part right here was lining up with where the dot is when the keyway was straight up and down. But let me turn on my light so I could see here. Get off those foggy safety glasses too. There's a dot over here. It looks exactly like the other. So I'm going to slide it on, line this up first just to see if it's the same place it was. I should have looked closer for that dot before I pulled it all apart, but let me line it up with that and see if that matches where it was, and if that does, that makes a whole lot of sense. So be roughly right about there. And gears lined up. Okay, so no, that's definitely not where it was. It's not firing same time. All right. Go ahead and put this dot with it. So that dot was totally full of paint. I did not see it there till I took the paint off. There's a really good chance that somebody just tried to time it by eye and it wasn't quite right. All right, set the lock out. I should be able to get this in easier now. Okay, 2 dots line up. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're firing pretty close to the same place, so I think that is where it was. Okay, so we got compression stroke, power stroke. Yep, just partially in the power stroke, we're hitting the exhaust valve. An exhaust stroke. The intake stroke seems to be. Our exhaust valve is open for a good part of the intake stroke. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in here. With a penny being a wedge, the spring that was probably not part of it. So I'm going to just de-adjust the rocker arm for right now and see if I could get enough adjustment out to stop that valve from opening at the wrong time. Because this is just to get it to run. As long as it runs and stays running, I'm kind of happy. I don't care if it runs perfect at this point. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, so we got intake stroke, compression, fires, power stroke, bottom dead center exhaust valve opens, top dead center is closed completely. Yeah, I think that's better. So let's pop that flywheel back on and see what happens. Yes, I think the exhaust valves are messing with me. I think after it would fire, it would actually not have enough intake stroke to draw in there. All right, guess we got to put the plug back in. So let's go ahead and, well, fuel came out of there. Maybe I don't need to choke it. Let's see what it does. All right, I'm wondering. So, see where this is broken off and somebody welded it back or brazed it or something. Come on, focus. So right here, That thing broke off and somebody welded it, brazed it or something to get it back. And I am just wondering if either there's a big vacuum leak on the other side, which I kind of doubt because I'd probably hear it when I choke it. But I wonder if this protrudes down in there and is stopping fuel flow. I don't know. So I guess I'm going to pull that mixer off just to look and make sure. But I think this thing should be running. Unless I'm fighting weak spark on top of everything else. But yeah, let's I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm gonna call it quits for today, but it will be part of this video. And I'll get back on it soon.
Alright, here I'm back at it another day. I was staring at this thing a little while. Started realizing that since I adjusted the rocker arm out so the exhaust valve wasn't hanging open, when this latches, it wouldn't hold the exhaust valve open. It would just stop spark. So I adjusted this little piece of metal here out more. Figured out why they put a penny behind it for a wedge, because it's actually lifted a little, and when they wedged up this side, they put it back flat. For right now, it's fine. Probably just needs to be turned over. What's weird now, though, our mag isn't closing all the way. I just loosened these two screws, tap that in. It doesn't slide this part at all. It just slides that piece of that latch in between. So I don't know what I would have changed to stop that. I mean, I see so many areas in here where there's a lot of slack and bushings that need to be in place. Where the governor is actually welded on, this arm hits the weld. There's no way I could show you that with the camera, but I don't know. With the issues is with the governor shaft being tore up in the gear, this brake here, the governor mount being broken. I'm definitely not as happy with the price I paid for this. I can't even find that governor part online anywhere. So I might be grinding it up, breaking it again, making it straight. I don't know. And I still don't know if this governor had splines or what, or I'm not splines, I'm sorry, if it had threads or what, but so I figured out why it wasn't closing. So if it goes all the way forward, doesn't close. Let's see. So push it all the way back, now it's closed. I guess that's what this spring is here for. Which you think this spring would be enough, but apparently this spring is not. But I guess they put that spring in there to help that. I don't know. This is turning into a lot of little bitty things that are just not right. I was hoping to just get it running, make it work. Let's see. So right now, we are not closed. All right. Blurry, but points are open. Sure, some weld buildup there. It looks like this rod and roller might be touching that. I'm going to push back on the rod now and slide it back.
Let's see what it does. See, once I push it back, the spring takes it back. But it's like it gets caught on something. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this mixer. Put a couple washers and shims here to make this spring a little tighter for now. And also take a look at that repair. So we'll do that. Alright. Looks like somebody used some cardboard for a gasket. No big deal there. You can tell they brazed this. You can see a little bit of brass inside of there. But not enough protruding in to do anything. So we're probably alright there. Alright. Looks clear in there. Alright. Just want to go ahead and unscrew this and take a look. Nothing looks bad. I know this actually shuts it off because I blew through the line with it closed and nothing happened. Just want to see what it looks like. Yeah, it's just pressing up against the cast surface in there. It's like it's supposed to. I don't see anything going on with the mixer. I think we're good. I suppose it'd be nice to make a gasket real quick. Let me do that. I'll be back. Alright, did a couple things here. Another thing I was thinking probably happening. Check ball screws onto here, and I got to thinking, what if that ball is sealing against this piece? So put a couple notches in it and cleaned it all out and cleaned up the threads. So take a look and see what it does. That might help us. Because maybe if fuel's getting drawn up too quick, it blocks it off. And then when I open the valve enough, I get fuel up there, it's not doing like it's supposed to, too much. So I'll see if I can blow through it backwards. Nope, but my valve's closed. Let me open that back up. Yep, blows through good. All right. So I think that's going to help. Also, I cleaned this up, made a quick cork gasket for it, and I just need to clean that off real quick. All right, good enough for now. Definitely good enough for cork. Oh, almost forgot one of my main reasons to take this apart is put some shims on here. Make that push back better. It moves good. There's a lot of up and down. I think that the guide that it floats in is worn, but this whole thing needs a rework. Yep, still plenty of room there. So we're not going to break it off yet. Still not enough to let it close all the way. Still have the roller in there? Yeah. That is so weird. Governor's not stopping it. Yes. Just lift up on it, see if that changes, and yeah. Lifted it, slides right in. So if I slide it forward, it goes back fine. But let the cam do it. It does not. I'm gonna pull this mag off just to clean that up. Then I can probably see down in there better and see what's going on. I thought this one was gonna be easy. All right. Doesn't take as much to pull it away as most of them I'm used to. Not much magnetism there. All right, so maybe that's some of it. I do not have a way to charge these yet. I plan on building a charger, but have not. Oh, I see another penny back there. I don't know if you can see where that's raised, but I'm going to go ahead and open that stuff up. Pull the flywheel back off since it's easy to remove now. And see what's binding in there and at least clean it up, clean all the paint off or something. Maybe we'll see what's going on. I probably won't try it again with this mag. I'll probably pop on a good mag because I'm pretty sure that one's weak. Look at those bushings are all wore out. All right. Okay. Actually, let's look at this. So nothing really abnormal in there. It looks okay. Here's where that weld is, or braze. I don't see any contact marks where it's been hitting that. There's that penny spacer. Doesn't look bent. There is a little bit of a mark right there. That'd be the top corner, right in here where I can't see. Right where it looks like that little weld is protruding. So that would be the culprit. Yeah, sitting right there. All right, so I'm not going to take this off and rework that yet. I'm just going to grind this nut where it doesn't touch it anymore, and we'll go from there. Get this thing at least fire and see what it's got. But yeah, it's crazy. This is all broke off too. So there's another problem I noticed. When this flies out, it comes really close to the crankshaft. You see a nice shiny spot right there where the paint's rubbed off. Depending on where this is at the time, I think it makes contact with it. So that's not good. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop this off, much as I don't want to. Okay, let's see how it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be a set screw that's threaded into here. This has threads in it, probably the wrong size. This is worn. I might need to put a bushing in there to take up space. But it looks like if I get the right set screw, I'll be good to go. This one's definitely not the right size, although it's got a tie wire through it. I wonder if these marks are just there. And that crank gear is really worn. A lot of running with no oil. Let me see if I can find a screw for this and I'll be back. Looks like somebody had it tapped out to a 1/4-20. It's not tapped very straight, so it's probably not, probably wasn't originally that. I'm gonna go with that for now. If it'll tighten up without, and tighten up where I feel like I'll trust it for a test run, I think I will drill and I'll put a proper screw in here and lock it down with wire for the final. But yeah, that seems to be a lot better. All right. Okay, so I'm glad I did that. I didn't know if I was going to be glad. Okay, so let me go. I am not going to worry about moving that penny right now, I don't think. I'm just going to roll with that. I think the lockout will still work okay. I don't want to have to mess with it. So let me grind that nut down a little bit. And then we'll put it back together and see what we get. By the time I get this together, there's no telling what kind of RPM it's going to run. They have so many adjustments out of whack. If it fires off, I really got to pay attention to that. Although the confidence I have of this thing running good enough to run away, I'm sort of doubting it. Hey, we're back to timing. So dot's right there between those teeth. Mine's way over here. Yep, here we are. All it's slack. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the flywheel. Nah, guess I'll check my timing first real quick. Just spin it through. All right. Exhaust stroke. Oh, wait, that was compression. Power. Now exhaust stroke. Exhaust valve's open. Top dead center. Exhaust valve closes. Intake stroke. Compression stroke. Fires. Power stroke. Bottom dead center. Okay, so we're good. It's where we should be. All right, next up, I'm gonna put a known good mag on this thing. I'm tired of dealing with that one. Okay, got this magneto off my other motor. Tower's on the wrong side, so I'll get a little bit longer spark plug wire I borrowed from the little 4-cylinder I have over there. I just want to feel the difference in this one. Yeah. Want to compare it to this other one real quick. It felt a lot stronger to me, but it's been a while since I messed with this one. It's been off for about an hour. Oops. Oh yeah. Oops. Not even in view. But definitely easier on this one, so maybe we'll get something. Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's coming back enough. There's slack there. Okay, exhaust stroke. Is that exhaust? Let's see. So we got, this is exhaust stroke, intake stroke, power stroke, top dead center. Compression stroke. Let's see. It's this mess. It's bringing it too far down and fighting the whole way. I need to look at a couple pictures of this online just to make sure, because I assume this is adjustable separate, and I got two nuts there as a lock nut. I might just put, or as a jam nut, I should say. I might just put a lock nut there, nylon lock nut. I want to see if these springs even look remotely correct. So let me see if I can find a couple pictures and go from there. All right, so a little update here. I looked at some pictures, and there was not a heavy spring on this side on any picture I could find. Um, they're actually fairly similar. So I did some swapping. I swapped these around, adjusted this one where I get the timing right. Seems to fire and go back every time. I experimented with this. I did find one other problem. It was mainly hanging up because this is welded onto wrong. This is welded on, bent in a little bit. Because if I loosen these up, it would launch back where it needed to be. And if this was loose and I spaced it out, it would be fine. So for right now, I just loosened up a couple parts and I tweaked this over a little bit and it works. So I haven't decided whether on the final stage I'm going to tackle taking this off and rebrazing it, or it's more likely I'll just build myself a spacer that'll space this out like a 1/16 of an inch or so, and that should make it fine. But it seems to work like it should. Popping and sparking every time. Um, so we're going to put the plug back in it and see if we can make it run this time. There were so many little things I did. I don't know which one will actually be the one that makes it run, but it was all a problem. So, and a lot of it still is a problem. Okay. I think I have enough fuel left for something. So that's good anyway. All right, so I'm gonna get rolling here, shut down the Bluetooth so we could actually hear it run if it runs, and go from there. All right, so start off choking it again. Pass the compression stroke. Did anything for us? Still dry in there. I had a choke that time, so that was a waste. Alright, got some fuel then. Let's do something. Look at that! Alright, well that's awesome. So, out of curiosity, I'm going to put the other mag back on it and see if it runs with that. Because the other one's definitely weaker. I can't get a jump on spark much further than the spark plug at. I'm just curious if that was a big part of it or not. Well, I guess it starts easy.
I made it mad. It's running rich. Look at the black smoke. Wow, this thing is barely open. Good on fuel, I guess.
All right, well, that definitely took a couple turns I didn't expect. So, mag probably was not the issue, although it is weak, needs some work, but it was all of this. Just a lot of adjustments were wrong. That was our main reason for a no start, I guess. Could have been the way I had the check valve on here too. But this, some of the timing stuff and trip mechanism were definitely a problem. Governor's a big deal too, but that wouldn't have stopped it from starting. But good. All right, so eventually I will fix this up, but first step is going to be install it on a lawn tractor and then go from there. So I want to test everything, get it lined up where everything works, and then I'll go through and make the tractor and the engine nice. So that's the plan. I'll some of that might be on here, some of it maybe not, but there'll be updates throughout. So we'll play a lot of that by ear. So that's it for this one. I guess it does run, but it took a lot more than I expected. All right, see you on the next one, whatever that is.